So what do we do?
Whoa!
We've got
Sing?
we've got 100 people on the line. We've got no TV show.
Ah!
Again,
We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
welcome everybody. This is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show coming at you live in the shipping department.
Again!
Kind of feels like deja vu, huh?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Woo! Mercury retrograde is in full effect. We just tried to make a TV show and it totally
It
failed.
starts to record and then it breaks. But that's okay. So what we're going to do today is discuss what Angela's been doing for the last couple days.
Oh.
She's been making raw coconut kefir.
And
And today she made some sort of kelp noodle yumminess.
no, the other one. Kefir and Papa. Yogurt.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
All right, maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So Mr. Monarch is a hydrophiliac, as many of you probably know. He likes to drink massive amounts of liquid. And so we decided to make our own coconut kefir, and we opened all these coconuts, and we had all this coconut kefir starting off, and so then we suddenly had all this coconut meat, and I was like, oh man, what should we do with this stuff? So I remembered that some people ferment the coconut meat and make it into coconut yogurt, and I never did that before, and so I watched a recipe from Kevin and Anne-Marie at Gianni, and I made it, and I just tasted a little bit of it earlier, and it's really good. It's just coconut meat blended, and then you stir in some probiotics and leave it for like half a day.
It's nasty.
It's not nasty. It it's like live yogurt. You know when you have live yogurt and it's really kind of like really zingy and sour, full of probiotics.
If it's not nasty, why'd you give it away and not have any?
Baba. Because it felt like quite a heavy food to me, and when it's hot like it is here at the moment, I can't really deal with heavy foods very well. And
It's
so
so hot here, it's ridiculous.
I gave it to our workers, and they were all really excited. I gave them little jars of fresh coconut yogurt. And today I did make a kelp noodle dish that was amazing. I don't usually eat kelp noodles, but I tried a little bit of somebody else's kelp noodle dish recently, and it was so good. It really inspired me to make a kelp noodle dish with a sunflower kind of Alfredo sauce. Kelp noodles are so bizarre and really cool, you know? It's like eating pasta for raw foodists and getting lots of seaweed and minerals into you at the same time. So yeah,
It's
I've been having
nasty
some
also. Just throw the coconut kefir junk on top of the kelp noodles that I don't know what they are.
Baba.
All right, people in the chat room, you got any questions?
Not be rude, Baba.
Not be rude. I've been living off of figs. We just had the most amazing figs from Chatsworth. We bought them at Erewhon Market. Incredible. Look at that, babe. It says 111 in your crowd. 80. Okay. Doesn't make sense. All right. So
Yes?
we're going to play the random game since nobody's asking questions. I'm just going to go and close my eyes and pick the closest product and talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. It's kind of like Wild Product. Oh, it is Wednesday. It's like live Wild Product Wednesday.
Yes.
Look at the shipping department, people. This is where all your products come from if you order stuff from us. It's very quiet right now because it's late in the day and everyone's gone home. But you should see this place in the daytime. It's bumping. Did you find anything?
Okay, here we go. I just had to giggle chop and pick like 6 products.
Ooh.
Did you entertain the nice folks?
No.
No? Okay. Angela's favorite product out of all of them is...
Baba! Not say rude things.
the MSM soap bars.
Ooh.
Ooh. We actually just got in, I like it, vanilla, infused with MSM here. We just got watermelon in that nobody even knows about.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really good. That's the one that we got already, right?
Yeah.
Vanilla.
So it's natural soap with MSM. What does MSM do?
MSM is really good for the skin. It helps to nourish the skin and tonify it and feed it from the outside.
And do you like to take MSM for certain reasons, and what are those reasons?
Yes, I like to take MSM internally and externally to help with the skin. And also, I like to take it sometimes if I'm around animals, because sometimes I get allergies to animals, not very severely, but it's kind of there in the background. And MSM helps to bring down allergic reactions and inflammation. So it really helps for people with like arthritis and things like that, especially rheumatoid arthritis and all those kind of things. I don't have that, but I like to help my body out in situations that could feel a bit allergenic.
I think we should talk about allergies, actually, because Dr. Norman Walker says that allergies would be non-existent if you were not toxic inside. What it does is, when you're allergic to something, it is merely stimulating toxins and having them eliminated from your body. And if there was nothing to be eliminated from your body, hence, allergies would not happen.
Anne Wigmore says something similar. She says, all disease and all allergies come down to 2 things: toxemia, which is like backed up stuff in the body, and deficiencies. Everything that is a malfunction or a condition or a disease or whatever of the body, she says, comes from those 2 things: backup of waste in the body, toxemia, or deficiencies.
Okay, let me explain something really quick, because some people think, oh, well, when I become clean enough, these allergies are going to stop. It doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen.
Why?
Because living on the planet today, there's always going to be toxicity in the body. There's no avoiding it. There's a way to make it so there's less, so allergies will be less, but in essence, there's no avoiding it. So if you're on a raw food diet, like myself, who has been doing this for, let's say, 13 years, I'm a pretty clean guy. And if I'm eating at my consistent diet, allergies are most likely not going to happen if I'm systematically under-eating. But as soon as you eat a little bit more than you're normally supposed to eat, guess what happens? Excess toxicity ends up in the body. And let's just say you are systematically under-eating, you're just going to be detoxing, and also air pollution and stuff like that. So it's a very fine line there. Anne Wigmore, who probably avoided all this, she was an extremist. I mean, I'm an extremist, but she's like really extremist. As the years went by, she was eating energy soup. Seriously, I was told she was eating 5 mouthfuls a day. So one meal would be like, oh, here's my energy soup, and I'll just chew it to nothing until it's gone.
5 spoonfuls 5 times a day of energy soup.
Yeah, like a meal would be like 1 sip of energy soup. And then I heard she did enemas twice a day. So she was like super clean, barely ate anything, and you know, the allergy symptoms would probably not even be. I mean, enemas twice a day, that's just ridiculous. But in this day and age, if you guys knew where we came from, what this planet really was in its pristine state, you wouldn't believe it.
How would they know?
Well, if you went to Ecuador, like us, and lived in a pristine environment, and you came back to this trash hole, then you would see the major difference there. Now, I'm not saying the United States is a trash hole, I'm just saying maybe California is.
Baba!
Southern California. Okay, stop it. My point is, now, if I were to go to where it was 100,000 years ago on this planet, and then I were to go to Ecuador, I'd probably feel that Ecuador is a trash hole. What I'm saying is, we don't have any idea where we're coming from here. It's ridiculous.
I'd like to say something.
What would you like to say?
Did we tell them about the dogs?
About how you can't stand how they make crazy noises when they lick their genitals? Nah.
Baba.
Nah. The reason why we're not getting dogs is because they make these noises like.
Stop it.
Okay, stop. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mm.
Okay.
Did we tell them about how dogs came from wolves?
No, maybe you'd like to share it. This is pretty big.
Well, you probably knew that already, right? Like, domestic dogs came from wolves.
I didn't know that.
Well, what I thought was really fascinating, for some reason I started researching where domestic dog breeds all came from the other day, and I found out that, like, they literally all came apparently from wolves, and people just bred in different directions, and they would keep breeding for different qualities. And so we ended up with the point that we're at now, where we have Lord knows how many different apparent varieties of dogs, and they all used to be wolves, and we bred them for all these different kind of qualities that they would have. And one of the main things that we did was we kind of babied them in a way. So if you think of what a wolf looks like, it looks very wild, and it has, like, alert ears and things like that. And then a lot of dogs are just kind of like teddy bears almost, and they're and so what I thought was really interesting about this was, in the context of raw food, what people say often when they're trying out a raw food lifestyle and they feel like it doesn't work for them, they'll say, well, this just doesn't work for me, and I don't feel like I can digest this food, and humans haven't eaten this way for so long, or they think the humans never ate this way, or whatever it is. It kind of opened up a new perspective for me on all of those kind of thought patterns, looking at this history of where the dogs came from. Because if you think that over at least the last 7 generations in our societies, most humans have been eating all kinds of bizarre processed foods, and just getting to the point where people are consuming crazy stuff in terms of fuel for their bodies, it kind of makes sense that people might think that they can't digest raw foods. It's like we've kind of been breeding and moving ourselves into that direction for our bodies to be able to handle that kind of stuff, rather than being able to handle a lot of fiber and to really chew our food really well, and all of those kind of things that most people aren't used to and don't do anymore. So I was really interested about the dogs, and also what it revealed to me in terms of humans thinking that they can't eat raw food. Most dogs these days are fed kibble, and they might kind of go through health issues if you tried to feed them raw. Same with humans.
It is said that all vegetables came from wild edibles, and then we grew them like dogs.
We bred them in different directions, right?
Right. So now back to this point of where we used to be and where we are now. I guess this is why Angela even brought this up in the first place. I mean, if you take a wolf that's big and then he turns into a little Bichon Frise with like one eye, then what are we going to do? Like, I mean, so you can see that the possibilities and potential of where the human body, the human has come from, let alone the environment. It's so blatantly obvious to me.
I just got deja vu.
Because I say the same thing over and over again, or what?
I don't know. Is it time to go now?
Just one more chocolate ecstasy, baby. I'm really feeling the energy. So, wait a minute. Maybe you could explain this deja vu experience in this last 30 seconds we have.
It felt like once when I was playing a game of Monopoly, I foresaw this moment right now. That's all I'd like to share. Thank you.
Monopoly. We were just talking about Monopoly like the other day when we were on our walk.
The universe moves in mysterious ways, doesn't it?
No, I think your people that you talk to up there moves in mysterious ways.
Is it time to go now?
Who do we got here?
Angela Stokes Monarch.
And Matt Monarch trying to swallow an MSM bar. No?
No.
Now I gotta keep this one.
Uh-oh.
And we'll see you again tomorrow at the Raw Food World TV show.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.